out and about, we're still in some kind of a transition because there's money being spent to do that.
Right. This has exactly been my thinking. And at first I thought, oh my God, are we really clear of this now? Is this really going away already? But then when they came back, I thought, well, somebody's dumping money into this and has the ability to put these guys in the sky. So I guess we're not done with it yet, obviously.
No, we're not done yet. But when you think about it, there's got to be some serious money that's being spent to coordinate all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a massive coordination. Even if it's just the money aside, which of course, obviously it couldn't be coordinated without that, but it's massive. And it's interesting that you say that it was like that there too, because I didn't really ask anybody else anywhere else what it was like in their area. So, and what has it been like there at home?
It seems like the chemtrails started to kick back up.
How long would you say you noticed it was clear for?
You know what? It went for, it seemed like about 2 months in that neighborhood where we just didn't have any chemtrails. Because I usually, it's not like I'm looking for them. A lot of times you can't help but, avoid seeing them.
Yeah.
So I hadn't seen them for a long time until last week they kicked up again. So that's what always makes me wonder, okay, what's really going on? Because, I mean, right now there's so much confusion out there about so many different things. And it's hard to just know what's real and what's not real at this stage of the game.
Definitely. Most definitely.
That's why I sent you that that link for Steve Mnuchin. I could not get over.
For what did you say?
Mnuchin, the treasurer.
Oh, right. I had to call my son in. I said, have you heard of this guy? Because my kid is like, he's like a walking encyclopedia with movies and directors and producers and studios. And he didn't know who he was, but that blew me away when I started reading off the movies that he had. He's a producer, right?
Executive producer on like 25, 30 movies.
So, it just has to be that, I mean, they're all aware that they're actors and that they're producers and that they're in a production. So like, it makes you really want to know the level of awareness.
Well, I mean, when I saw that, I wasn't expecting it because I've shown you that site before. And then I was typing names in. And then I heard his name come up on a podcast and say, did you know Steve Mnuchin was tied to all these different movies? And that's when I looked him up. And I couldn't believe a lot of these movies I've watched many times.
Yeah.
And didn't know he had any kind of a connection. And when you think of it, how could someone that's an executive producer in Hollywood go into being a Secretary of the Treasury?
That's what I'm saying. Like, who hired him for this role? And I realize, that there's a whole way that people come into these roles, but somebody had to have tapped him and been like, you're the choice and here's how we're going to get you in there. And how did you come about the IMDb information? Did you just stumble on that? Like,
it was one of those things where I did stumble on it. And then I started typing different names in there just to see what would come up.
Yeah.
And that's when it started to kind of blow your mind, because one of my friends, she's been kind of like involved in acting in Hollywood for a long time. And she was telling me about it. And to her, it was like no big deal, but she's not making a connection between all the people that are in Washington that are producers and actors and actresses, and to what's unfolding, but in front of our eyes, because at times, doesn't it feel like a movie you're watching?
It's never been more clear that it was a movie. And, as a matter of fact, so the playlist I sent you is from a guy named Jason Estes, who quite frankly is just fucking an amazing human being. But he is always suggesting movies and shows that go with the theme of the month and the energy and what's shifting and stuff like that. And this month, of course, is the Truman Show.
Yep.
So it really, it's constantly putting things into perspective, and your timing and finding that is amazing. And so, but to see, you know, the way that things are playing out and who is seemingly on what team, and the fact that they're all still actors, no matter what fucking side you would like to think is a winning team. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And so to what degree are they all aware that they're really actually all on the same team? And not necessarily, even though seemingly, yes, the same team that seems to be like destroying the world, it's also the same team that is exposing this to the world right now.
It is.
It's an exposition.
That's what it feels like. But the other part of it is you're going to only expose it to a certain amount of people that's in the audience that's watching the show.
Right, because some people got up to take a pee, and some people are talking or texting, and they're not paying attention to the movie.
Or some people are not even capable of getting the message at all.
And do you think that those are the ones who are going to be on the descension timeline? And
I would think so. I'm not sure if they're fully human, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've definitely varying degrees of beings here, for sure.
So here's the interesting thing. When you look at Joe Biden, and we talked about it before, the guy that supposedly is Joe Biden looks similar to the real Joe Biden, but you know that's not him. Because there's pictures you can see the old Joe Biden from 10 years ago and this guy, whoever he is now, they're not the same.
Will you bring that up? Let's do a screen share.
I can't find a picture. Let me see.
Because I don't think that I've seen those side by side. You know, there's some that you can be like, oh, that's not the same person. Dave Chappelle is not the same fucking Dave Chappelle. That is the most ridiculous,
I've seen that too.
Obvious, like, and he doesn't sound the same. He doesn't speak the same. He doesn't have the same mannerisms.
And he disappeared and he came back.
Different skin color, completely different skin color.
Even his weight.
Yeah, yeah. And he always said that he had no interest in gaining weight and buffing up because he could run fast, and there was something else, but it was interesting.
Okay, I'm going to see.
Have you heard the interview with his cousin?
No.
Oh my God.
I have not.
You've got to hear that. She's like, that ain't my fucking cousin. And he called her they're best friends all their lives. He called her just before he went into that executive meeting with Netflix and said, hey, just so you know, I ain't signing this fucking contract that they're going to try and offer me. And when he came out, and he said, I'll call you as soon as I get out of there. Never called her again. And when she finally did get a hold of him, she knew it wasn't fucking him.
Now, I don't know if you believe in clones, but
absolutely. You did have this conversation that
he's got to be a clone.
Absolutely.
I can't. Next time I find it side by side, and it was apparent.
Yeah. And his cousin said that his wife had been cloned, kids and everybody.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And apparently it doesn't take that long to clone someone.
Right.
Is what I understand.
Mm-hmm. He had no interest in the money, and he didn't need it because he owned outright his farm in Ohio. His ranch that he has in Ohio. He owned it, and he had no interest. He never really wanted to be famous. He just liked to make people laugh and to say shit that, needed to be said.
Okay, and even his son, Hunter Biden, when you see old pictures of Hunter and whoever this thing is now, they look like a clone. Okay, tell you what, let's do a screen share. Let me see what I can dig up.
All right. Now, I think you can just go and then I can give you permission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, but I don't know. It's not asking me for permission or anything.
It says host disable participant screen sharing.
Let me see. Who can share? All participants. Who can sharing with someone? Okay, and I'm doing one at a time. All right, see if that works. Thank you, babe.
Okay.
See if that works.
That works. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I'll give you I can tell the difference between just looking at the old. Okay, here we go. Like for instance, this guy right there, you can see what I'm pointing at with his son, right?
Yeah.
See, that's Joe Biden, but that's not a really clear example. Let me see if I can find something
Right, because his
better.
facial expression's a little.
Yeah, it's not looking just, let's see about this one. See, that's a little bit better. Okay, look at him. Even though, you know, he's got that shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
To me, that's not the same guy.
Okay, click back one more time.
I don't know who that is, so we're gonna let that ring. Okay, there's this guy.
Okay.
Let's see, we can go into it. Okay, so you can get the gist of his facial features, right?
Mm-hmm. Is that supposed to be Hunter next to him? Because that doesn't look like the guy that they're passing off as Hunter either at all.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was one photo of both of them that they did. I should have saved it. It was obvious that wasn't him. Okay, like here. See this? Look. I wish I could. Okay, look at his face. Just get a real good look at his face.
Okay.
And tell me if that's the same guy.
I mean,
Look.
it doesn't so much.
To me, they're distinctively different. Let me see if I can find another. This one may not get it. See, that's the clone.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the real one? See, that's the clone. I can always tell the clone. I'm trying to find this guy right here. That's who I'm looking for.
Okay.
Let's see. That's the clone. See, here's another picture right here. And unfortunately, he's always smiling, but you could tell the features are just different.
Yeah.
So anyway, next time I find it, I'm going to send it to you. And okay, here, maybe this is it right here. Hold on. This is kind of the gist of it. This is the original one. That's the clone. And they were trying to show in the ears. Look how the ears look different.
Yes. Ears are one of the greatest ways to tell. That is two completely different freaking people.
Let's see if there's any other. It says the claim is, I found this guy. Okay, they're basically saying the same thing we're kind of saying. That no, there ain't no friggin' way that's no Joe Biden. So anyway, just getting back to the topic that we're talking about, and this whole theme with this movie stuff. Let me see if I can bring. I've been buying Bitcoin, and all these coins have been going berserk.
Travis just started mining in the browser a couple of days ago. I'm like, you got to get on this. It's time.
I mean, I've been having these coins for a while. In fact, I have my own coin that should be coming out here in the next couple of months, at least 2 months from now.
Oh, very
So
exciting.
that's really exciting for me because I've worked on a project for crypto in the past, and it was doing very well. And unfortunately, one of the guys that were in charge of the project was very arrogant, very hard-headed, and we would butt heads all the time. And I think I'm easy to get along with, but I had to walk away from the project, and the project started to fail.
Yeah, I find you pretty easy to get along with.
So I don't put up with the nonsense. And he started playing games with people, and it's like, no, we don't do business like that. Matter of fact, I'll show you the coin real quick. It was called Gold Coin, and I got involved with it because of the name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
That was a perfect name for, a coin. And then I got in, I was doing good. I'll show you the chart. Right now it's at 7 cents. I got it up to 49 cents. So for example, you see these spikes?
Yeah.
That's when I got involved with the project right here. We got it up to like 60 cents. Wait a minute, does that go back far enough? Let me see something. Yeah, that's what it was. Actually, it was right here. Let me get rid of a couple things. 1 second. Let's get rid of the market cap. Let's get rid of the Bitcoin price. Okay, so you could see I got involved right here in 2017 around February. We start putting all kind of stuff together to get geared up for the coin to go up in price. So it started to implementary go up. It got all the way up to 60 something cents. And then him and I fell out, and then it started to creep back down. And then the other guys in the project wanted me to come back. So I came back again, about right here. We started to do the same things. We got it up, and then I had to leave the project altogether. So I took all my coins. I had like 300,000 coins.
Wow.
So I ended up dumping 300,000 coins at about 8 cents. And one of the guys, developers that were on the project, him and I started our own coin. So we've got our own coin right now. It's called VersaCoin.
Congratulations. Please share with me some stuff on that. I'm going to have my son look into that.
Okay, so it's not on any exchanges or any of that. We're putting all the infrastructure together. You'll like the concept. Once I get it to the next level, you'll like the concept, because what we're doing is building a community of people. We're going to teach people how to invest in coins. We're going to create job opportunities. It's going to be set up as a private community where you have to be a member. We've got our own constitution. It's almost like its own little society. We don't have to worry about censorship. We can talk about health. We can talk about anything because it's private.
I love that. On that subject quickly, I shared, I'm sure you've seen Greg Braden talk about the woman who cured her bladder cancer in 3 minutes in a medicineless hospital in Beijing, China. And they have a live feed of it on ultrasound, right? So you watch them chant over her and watch it on live feed disappear right in front of your eyes. So it's a clip that I send to all of my clients, all of my friends, anybody I meet new, has no idea. I always, ask them to watch this. And so I shared it with someone the other night. And not only does YouTube not allow you to watch videos anonymously anymore, but there's an age restriction on the video. They said
Why?
Inappropriate for some viewers. Because curing cancer in 3 minutes with no medicine and it has to be that. It blows my mind. Anyways, when you said you could talk about health, well, as you well know, that's the kind of stuff that's getting censored. So
And
just
it's
as
being
an
censored
example
on
of that
purpose.
happening.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. It's called a PMA, a private membership association.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's private, the government can't come in and say, well, you can't talk about this. You can't, because it's not a public thing.
Right.
The government controls anything that's public. That's why you can't talk about anything to do with medicine.
Right.
You can't talk about anything to do with politics because they control or want to control the narrative.
Right.
You know, once you go private and there's agreements, they can't come in and break those agreements with members.
I mean, they're
That's
not
why they
able to.
that's why they want to go into being communist, because once you go from being somewhat socialist into communist and fully, they have rights to everything. They own everything and you have nothing. No
Right.
rights, no nothing. So that's why they're fighting so hard to stay in power right now. Well, they will beg, borrow, steal, cheat, lie. You know what? The mainstream media is so bad, I can't even watch it anymore at all.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
You can't watch it anymore.
And more people that I'm noticing are getting to that same point to where you know you're being lied to.
Yeah.
And it's obvious you're being lied to.
Yeah. Well, as
but
a
that's
great
all
example,
part of the show.
Why don't you pull up the IMDb on the guy that you were just saying? I couldn't pronounce his name the other night anyways.
Mnuchin? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to get the link right from Facebook because
Yeah,
I sent you the link. That makes it easy.
it sure does.
Hold on 1 second. Not the right one. You should be right on top. I don't know why sometimes my computer, I mean, I've got a fast computer, but sometimes it's really slow. Okay, we're going to pull up Mnuchin. It should be right next. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we be. And then you saw all the movies.
I don't know if I expanded the list, but I must not have seen all of them. And they're in different order in the two different
They go by year.
Wow.
He's got 44 movies. Wonder Woman, King Arthur,
Wow.
Suicide Squad, The Legend of Tarzan, Scully,
Wonder
Lights
Woman.
Out, Pan, Jupiter Ascending. Okay.
Yeah.
And then look at his credits. Actor, 1 credit. Check this out. Merrill Lynch executive as Stephen Mnuchin. Rules don't apply. Let's look under self.
Wow. Fox News Sunday. TV series. State of the Union with, where did that go?
Right here.
State of the Union with Jake Tapper, TV series. I mean, holy shit.
Maria Bartiromo, Wall Street TV series. Meet the Press, Lou Dobbs. I did not realize he produced all these movies.
This is pretty amazing.
That's 44 movies. That's a lot of influence on people's subconscious mind.
Absolutely. And
Now,
those are just the ones put out as entertainment, as what, not as what they are, but seemingly. But the other things, it's this really goes with the theme of Truman Show here for January 2020.
It
And just to
does.
say the date here so that when I do put this up, it's January 2nd, 2021. I don't know why I said 2020 a moment ago, but this is pretty unreal.
I'm trying, I got something else here
so
that I'm
unreal
going to
that
find, that if you want to see something that's unreal, let me see if I can find it.
Some way we'll have to keep an eye on the time so that we make this one digestible and I can just put it up with no editing.
Okay. I'm trying to find this link where I came across one of these websites that was actually like one of these secret society websites. And when I find it, let me see, hold on. Give me one moment. Let me see if I can find this thing. It even shocked me, the people that were on that. I mean, you had the Pope. Let me find it. I don't want to just keep throwing out names.
We need a pretty fat list of people to look up and do some videos on, I think.
Well, once I find this, you're going to be like, oh my God. You know how you have so many different links and you try to remember where you put this stuff?
I guess I better make a bookmark area just for stuff like this so that I don't get all screwed up. I do pretty good on organizing my bookmarks, which is amazing because other things aren't so organized.
I'm trying to remember where I put that now. Hold on.
I mean, it really makes you wonder how many different versions or how many different copies of all of these people that there are.
I heard someone said that there's,
right? I mean, especially any world leader, like they can't have them just like, because how many different Hillary Clintons have you seen? I have
seen a couple.
At least 3 or 4, in my opinion.
And the last one was so bad, it's like you can't even pass that one off for being Hillary Clinton.
It's Weekend at Bernie's is what it's gotten down to. You know, they're just like stuffed animals they're hauling around.
So what does that say about our society?
You know, I couldn't wait for Fist Fight to come out, and I thought it was going to be so great. And it's got, you know, some actors that I really liked and stuff. And then I couldn't even fucking enjoy it because they were constantly glorifying teen boys having sex with female teachers. And, you know, it's not the same disgusting thing if it's a teenage boy because he wants it. And it just is. That was a real disappointment. It was impossible to laugh through.
Which is it? And you know what? The quality of a lot of these movies nowadays, it's just, it's hard to describe. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, some of the stuff is ridiculous to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only going to look for a little bit more, then I'm going to have to, I know I have it, that's for sure. I just can't remember. I probably should have found it before I even got online with you.
That's okay.
Because I wanted to show you. When I find it, we'll go over it.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil it because I want you to see everyone that's on this list.
Yeah. I can pause recording so that you can look for it and find it too if you want. That way.
Okay, do that real quick.
All right. Here we go. Live again.
Okay, so this is the website. If you want the link, I'll send it to you after. These people, let me see if I can blow it up because we're going to be looking at these people as they flash.
Okay, and I'm going to make us smaller on the screen. Are you looking at the same thing I am, or we're on the right hand side and we're nice and small now and I've made your screen bigger?
Right. And then you could see the names that are flipping, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if we need to pause anything, I think we can pause it.
What
Okay,
is this?
so what we're basically,
Senatus
hold on.
consultum?
Yes. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can just zoom in a little bit more, but it's not.
That guy looks familiar.
A lot of these people may look familiar. That's why I want to try to blow it up a little bit.
Uh-huh. I can
Hold on.
see if I can make us even smaller. I've made us as small as I can.
Okay, that's better.
Oh, way better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if we need to pause, okay, for example, this looks like it's some kind of society. And when we go through this, there are people that are going to be a parent that you've seen before at high ranking, and they all work together. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of let this go. And since you're recording it, you can always go back.
Yep. Yep. Social
And you can pause it.
engineering, ethical something. That's okay.
Uh-huh. Progressive thinker, humanitarian.
Impact investor.
Yes. As it gets deeper, there's going to be some faces that pop up. You'll be like,
familiar.
Carolyn Bond.
Script writer too. Okay.
Find my purpose.
I mean, and this is mostly presented in Latin, right? Isn't that what this is? At least their titles and some of the.
Yeah. As we get deeper, you'll see really familiar faces.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, they refer to these people.
Are you froze? Now you're unfroze. Okay. If you're not mistaken, they refer to these people
As the Golden Dawn.
it's my internet connection is unstable, it says. Hopefully that'll be okay still.
This guy's head of security at Deutsche Bank. Director African Tourism. Secretary
Eurasia?
General.
Oh.
Treasurer.
Is that a man or a woman?
Nowadays, you don't even know.
Right. and they do that so much on purpose, but
Which I don't get why, me personally. Filmmaker, scriptwriter, screenplay. A lot of guys are like that in here too. That's why I'm kind of showing you this.
mm-hmm.
Open source, intellectual operative.
So
She looks familiar.
Okay, so this is the second time that it's playing, but this is good. Let's let it play at least twice around here.
You know what? They took some people. You know who was in here?
Huh.
Trump and Pence.
Really?
Yeah. The Pope.
And they took them off of this
They took them off. They took them off is what it looks like. The Pope was on it. Christine Lagarde, which is head of the IMF. There was all kind of what's his name with Tesla, Elon Musk.
Really? But they cleaned it up, huh?
They took people off of here. There was a lot
How
more
long
heavy
ago did
hitters.
you see it the first time?
Oh, that was like 3 weeks ago.
So they've cleaned it up in, in the last 3 weeks then, obviously.
A lot.
Wow.
In fact, they took all the heavy hitters off. Something must be going on now. Where is this out of? Where's area code 331? I'm curious. I'll find out what country that
I
is.
don't know, that phone number is not looking like anything I've ever seen. She wasn't in the first round, was she?
Had to been. I'm gonna let that go. Let me see if
Yeah.
Netherlands. This is out of the Netherlands.
It's a little bit not surprising.
I mean, we're talking about probably 6, 7, or 8 heavy hitters they took off of this.
See, yeah, man or woman on that one, I don't know, but.
So I don't know what happened. They replaced Pence and Trump and a lot of these other people for some reason.
Wow.
Something's happening. Okay, that's it anyway. So something's definitely not the same. I wish I would have showed you this when it had all the other people on there. You'd be like, holy crap.
Or just screen recorded it if you have that capability. I'm having my son find
I'll put the link.
Caption software. Okay.
I'm gonna put the link on Facebook so you'll have it if you want to go through it.
Yeah. And I'll post it in the description of this video.
Okay. Let me get you again. I'm gonna send that. Now, when I got it, it was described as these are heavy duty decision makers of what's going on nowadays.
Uh-huh.
And I also was told initially that Trump was supposed to lose the election.
That's not me.
And
that you just.
Oops. Can't take it back now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And then say that last sentence one more time for me, because I don't think I heard you, because I was a little distracted by, whatever police things going on Facebook there.
Yeah, the video. Hold on, let me just send this so she knows.
That it was a whoopsies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now you have that. I'm going to find out more about it. But when I was given the link, I was told that these people that were on there are kind of like at a high level, and they're in charge of the show, so to speak.
Okay.
And apparently something happened between Trump and this group. There was a falling out, which may make sense because that's what I was told. They fell out. He was actually supposed to lose and just go about his way, but he decided to stay and fight. And all the stuff that you're seeing now is that.
And wouldn't that be the only way that this could kind of work anyways, is if he was kind of faking like he was playing along at very least?
Here's the interesting thing. When you get to his level, there is so much stuff that is so ingrained in control. He can only have so much say.
Right.
Because there's always somebody's pulling the string. If you're in the eye of the public,
oh, absolutely.
That's the power. Yeah, the power is not in the public. The power is in the private. these people that are making decisions, they don't want you to know.
Right.
Because they don't want to be a target.
Right.
So that's why they put front man out. That's why they put the actors.
Right.
They're the directors.
Right.
Anyone you see in public, and that's why I wanted to show you all the different faces, but they took all the important people that you would know off.
Yeah.
These are the public side of the show. These are the true actors. Hold on.
Do you want me to stop the screen sharing?
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to close this out. Okay,
You know, there's
so
no
anyway.
accidents. And so this woman is now going to be privy to some stuff and be like, wow, what's going on?
Yeah, and you know what? There's kind of some creepy music that goes. Let's see if I can get it to play.
Yeah. I'd like to hear it if there's some music.
Can you hear it?
Uh-uh.
You hear it?
No, is it playing on your side?
It's playing on my side.
I wonder why it's not coming through.
Do you have me hooked up for sound on your end?
I mean, yeah, so far as I know, I don't see any. Let me see if there's advanced settings here.
I'm going to turn it up then.
Now I can
What about
hear
now?
it. Yeah. Well, I started to.
Now?
It started to sound like I could hear some sound, and then it just went away.
It doesn't make sense because...
I know I should at least be able to hear it through how I'm hearing you.
Exactly, because it's loud. And you can't hear it.
Not really. No, like every once in a while I get like a bassy noise or a really high pitched something, but nothing.
That is really, that's weird.
What kind of makes you wonder then what's actually in the music for it to come through recording like that?
This is true. I don't know. I told her don't worry about it, and she says I'm confused. Okay, so anyway, okay, back to what we were talking about. It does feel like we're in some kind of a produced, almost like the Matrix in a sense.
Absolutely.
Where everything is orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel to you like it's falling apart?
It's a little bit of both, I think. To me, it feels like it's falling apart, but in an organized way. I can start to hear bits of it. It's so fucking weird that like
I'm not even playing it anymore.
then maybe what I was hearing wasn't that at all.
Yeah, because I'm not playing it at all now. And I had it so loud that it should have been coming right through the microphone.
All I could hear was you, and like there was silence in your room.
Let me try one more time.
Now I can hear it. And then it went away. Heard it for about 2 seconds. Now it's gone.
And you can only hear me.
Yep.
And that's all you can hear is me.
Yep.
That is really weird.
It is. It's going to be interesting if you watch this playback.
That is really weird.
I wonder if other people will be able to hear it and I just can't.
Wouldn't that be funny in a sense?
Nothing will fucking surprise me at this point, honestly. Yeah, so it feels a little bit of both, like it's a highly organized destruction, you know? Um like a stunt
Okay,
man.
look at the symbols on the screen now. You know
Those
what that
are
is, right?
keyblades. Well, at least they look like keyblades from my son's favorite video game. Go ahead and tell
That's
me.
the Vatican.
Oh.
That was the keys. That was St. Peter's keys. This is the Vatican also.
Ah.
So let's see what else comes through. B-15 since 1954. These, not sure what crest that is. House of who?
Medici?
Medici.
I'm sure I'm not saying it right, but House of Este. The wings look like ghosts.
It does. House of Orsini.
Orsini. Why does that sound so familiar?
I know that sounds. You know what this is?
Oh, yes, and it's not coming to me right now.
That's what the Roman Empire used as a symbol.
Ah.
Alliance for Sustainable Development. Internal governmental organization. Again, that's the Vatican.
Yeah. That's crazy. You know what? Let me screenshot that just real quick. Scroll up really just for a moment. Oh, you can't go back, huh?
Oh, I think I can. There you go.
Awesome. Yeah, let me screenshot that. I want to show that to my son.
Yeah, if you go anything to do with the Vatican, that's the keys of St. Peter.
Okay, thanks.
This also, see the sun?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that means. That IHS. Because that's when you start getting into these societies.
Yeah.
And these fraternities and all that stuff that are directing a lot of what we see.
Yeah. If not all.
If not all. Especially, let's see this.
You know, I can't help but feel like the way that everything is going to fall together apart, fall apart together, both of those two ways. Is the music playing again?
It was.
I just get tiny little bursts of it, and that's it.
That is weird. That's really weird.
Especially since you're screen sharing, it's playing on your screen. You'd think it would come through mine. Maybe I just don't know how to.
It was loud. I don't see how you could hear me and not hear that music. It was so loud.
Nope.
That's the weird part. So anyway, everything started with me with this Steve Mnuchin. And for someone to be in charge of the Treasury.
Who's Heather Crosby? Heather Crosby. He was previously married to Heather Crosby. Catherine Lee McCarver. I'd be interested to look at them, his spouses.
Let's do this. So I'm a year older than he is. So let's look at her. That's his first wife.
That's not his current?
No, this is his first. Actress, producer, writer. She was born in Edinburgh, Scotland. So she's from the UK. Isn't that interesting how they run in circles?
Yeah.
So this Heather
Yeah, no,
There's nothing
that's
on.
the present wife, see?
Oh, the one I just did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Louise Litton, that is his present wife.
Right.
Was she okay? Known for. So she was in this movie. Let's see. So she was in these movies. Producer credits. I don't see anything that stands out as far as movie wise. But she was in these movies.
Interesting. I wonder, out of curiosity, let's look up Dave Chappelle.
How do you spell his last name?
Gosh, I'm sure it'll come up actually. It's a CH, APPELE, I think. Or EPPLE. Not SCH, just CH.
Oh, that's right. There was.
Yeah.
You could tell. Look at that. Look
Yeah.
how different here.
Yep.
Writer, actor, producer. So those are his credits for writing.
It's funny too because he's not funny anymore.
It's almost like he's too serious.
It's almost like he's a clone and he knows he's a clone. And if you knew you were a clone, how desperate would you actually be feeling and how sad and how fractured? Because he has to have a part of his soul. He has to be a part of it. Think about it. He's a piece of him. He's, look, it's not the same person. It's just not the same person.
No, it's definitely not. I agree with you 100%. 100%.
It just seems like in some of his first stand-up stuff that he did after he became not himself, we'll say, I guess.
I want to see Michael Jackson
It
too.
just was really, it was like a cry for help.
It seemed that way, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Now look at a lot of stuff that Michael Jackson went through. I wonder if he got cloned at some point in the game.
I mean, think about how many stories we've been fed about what happened with him.
Yes.
And it would just make more sense. I'm sure that you've heard stories about Bernie Mac.
Yes.
And him saying, they're cloning us down there.
Yes.
And then they fucking killed him.
He came up missing. He didn't have a chance to get a clone. So what kind of dark mind would want to clone someone? And is there a connections with all these vaccines that they're trying to inject in people right now? Is that part of a cloning process?
I mean, certainly you would think that they're, it's transhumanism. And, as I was finding out more and more about my own implant situation, what I was getting was, not just in the chemtrails are these things coming into our body, but, like fibers, right? Morgellon fibers can come together in your body to create a bigger implant. So this would kind of explain how a person could get a bigger implant in their body physically without having, like an entry location on their body or a scar or whatever. But certainly in the vaccines, and then on top of that is inside of your body is the existence of every chemical possible to make up any compound on the earth, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
there's all kinds of possibilities there as far as I'm concerned about how some of these things could take place, and how they could so easily take you over. What just came to mind though when you said that was, I would imagine that especially depending on who was being injected and the importance of them as the experiment that they are, because everybody is, as far as I'm concerned,
That's right.
is the possibility that these needles aren't just getting thrown away into some biohazard thing, but a lot of times when they do an injection, they pull some blood back
That's right. For your
and then push
DNA.
it back in. Right. So really easy um, to get your DNA in any kind of injection, as far as I'm concerned.
So everyone has their own genetic makeup, which is unique to a certain degree, but we all have a lot of the basic components that make us human already in our body. To me, it's very invasive when you have something that comes along and they really want to claim us for themselves. You're mine.
Right.
Granted, you were created, source created you, but you in physical being, you're mine. You're my slave.
Right.
Um,
And of
and
course
that's
they have all the agreements in place through birth certificates and social security cards and all of that kind of shit. As far as they're concerned, they have the soul contract that they need to proceed. As far as, I was going to say as far as natural justice is concerned, but that's probably not necessarily true.
it's not true. And the reason why it's not true is that anytime you have an agreement or a contract, it's got to be consensual. Everything that they've put together is not fully disclosed in the sense of the child is born, child's mine. Kind of like when you have an animal on a farm, when that farm animal has anything that's mine. But since we're humans with free will that never truly gave consent, to me personally, as far as the universe is concerned, that's not a valid contract because that party never consented.
But to the same point, in some way, at some level, before we came into Earth, we knew that these things were going to take place and agreed to the chaos that's happening now, and even the experimentation that was done seemingly against our will, so that we could become this strong to make an ascension.
That part is true, and that's where those contract revocations come in, where you're consciously breaking any contracts that may have been put in place. It even says, even before the pre-birth process, if you remember.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's where those came in order to help get you back in alignment and to start breaking these contracts where they don't become binding. Because to a certain degree, when you see people act like robots, for instance, everyone's wearing a mask.
My God, it's pretty unreal, isn't it? It just doesn't even resemble the world that we were born into and grew up in, or even the world that we lived in 3 years ago, that people like you and I have been arguing, or choose my words better, have been attempting to share with people that were open to learning and knowing and receiving that kind of information. It doesn't resemble that world at all. This is absolutely mind-boggling.
Well, this is bizarro world, if you really think
So
about it.
fucking upside down, it's not even funny.
I mean,
But
you
the
can't.
beauty of that is that if it wasn't this way, then people would not be being shaken awake like they are right now. And I know that a lot of them are still asleep, but even they, I believe, the ones who have, you know, contracted for the ascension for themselves, they will be awakened. And we have no idea what it is that's going to happen to snap them out of it.
And they may not get, put it this way, the people that snap out of it are intended to snap out of it. The ones that
Oh,
don't
for
won't.
sure. Absolutely.
And it's come, I mean, it's pretty obvious for me. It's come to the point where there's nothing we can do about it.
Praise the Lord TV series, Self, U.S. Secretary of State. Did you see that? Pretty
Yeah,
much it was right in the middle.
That's why I'm pulling up. This is Mike Pompeo. He's the Secretary of State. But see, they didn't list him as an actor. They just have him on here, but he's not listed as an actor, producer, nothing.
Born in Orange, California, though, huh?
There's a lot of people come from California.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
User lists, related lists from IMDb users. Most loathsome, scummy humans currently stealing oxygen. Wow.
Let's see that at.
To the right under user lists.
Okay.
A list of 798 people created 1 month ago. That, I mean, that might be a list to check out. So I wanted to share this. My son made a post on Facebook about it because he was triggered about it over a dream that he had the other night. Dreams are just really just insane right now. And this is a memory that he's told me about for years. But at the time he didn't tell me that this had happened, or else heads would have rolled. There would be something done about it. But essentially he has a memory from, I believe, 3rd or 4th grade, where they took him in for a hearing test. And after doing this hearing test, they took him to a room that he had never seen before and gave him an injection. And
okay.
By then, I knew that he was vaccine injured. He was not getting any more vaccinations. He had a waiver at that school. That was around the time that his little sister started at that school. Anyways, it just is, I just, you know, when he was younger and said it, I was like, no, nope, because no, they all know how I feel, and that wouldn't happen, and it couldn't have happened. But, you know, all these years he's maintained this memory that was so strong to him. And also I just kept thinking, he's got such an aversion to needles that at times when he was young, when we needed to get blood work done.
Break it up. You broke up a little.
Okay. Where did I break off at? He's got
okay. Now you're back.
He's got such an aversion to needles that at times when he was little and he needed blood work, I had to have my ex-husband take a day off work in order to be the one there with him to comfort him, because I did not give him the comfort that he needed for something like that to happen. And we have been very close. I've been a stay-at-home mom with him. I mean, he trusts me and we have a good relationship, but I was not enough to give him the comfort to have that happen. And, you know, he was a big kid. He was not easily calmed, we'll say. But what he says is that after this hearing test and after receiving these tones in his ears, he just sort of in a trance-like state allowed them to inject him and went back to class like it was nothing, and never said anything to me about it at that age. But after a dream that he had probably about 6 days ago, he was triggered on that subject again and decided to make a post about it, and felt that he needed to ask a couple of people about it to see if they had a similar experience. And sure enough, another girl that he knows from Pennsylvania has the almost exact same memory, and so does her friend, of getting a hearing test. And what she says is that if you failed the hearing test, that you got the injection.
Really?
And so just throwing this out there as an interesting coincidental kind of thing, like when I began asking people if they had a memory of stabbing themselves with a pencil and
Right?
and these screen memories. So I've always known since I was little that absolutely nothing was as it seemed in schools.
In what way?
I just felt like many of those people were actors, or that they were on, like, had I known what secret societies were, I would have said, oh, they're all part of a secret society. But I didn't understand. I had no frame of reference for that. But I would have argued that they were all a part of some secret,
Organization.
not good organization that did bad things to kids. Yeah. And that there were maybe
So here's the thing. Are they all bad? I would imagine that there's good.
That's right. There would have to be both, wouldn't there? There would have to be.
Have to be. Yeah, that's why when you said that, it's like, no, it can't be. There's got to be good and bad to offset, or they would have destroyed this place a long time ago.
And I'm seeing in my mind right now TV shows that really depict that.
Depict what? Duality?
Actually, specifically what I was just speaking about, and yes, the duality of these secret societies in schools. And then they are teachers and their kids are in school together. And it's like this constant battle between what we're, referring to as good and evil, that we kind of have to come to terms with here and come into and find neutrality about.
Okay, so here's the question that has puzzled me all of my life. There are those that have souls, and there are those that are soulless. There are more soulless individuals or whatever that are part of this reality than those that do have souls.
Would you call them filler people?
It's kind of like Dolores Cannon used to call them backdrop people.
Right, which I would call filler people. Yes, exactly.
So if they're filler people, that would kind of make sense because it makes everything seem real.
But once it's created, are they not still real, whether they have souls or not? As a child, soul wouldn't be the right word for it necessarily. But I knew that the furniture had consciousness, that everything had consciousness. And there was a part of me that felt bad for a piece of paper because it couldn't express. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I'm still going back to the principle of the clone, and I'm trying to think about what you said about the consciousness part.
Well, it's created from him, and it needs to have something that is sentient-ish, even, you know, that runs that. And there's a level of awareness there. That man gets up in front of people, clone or not. He's a part of David Chappelle. You see what I mean?
He's a part, and see, this is where I'm getting, and I'm glad you said he's a part. He's a part, but it's kind of like your finger. You can live without your finger. That finger would not be conscious anymore because it can't do anything, so it's going to die. Right? It can't exist without the host. Right. Because the host carries the consciousness.
Right.
So if we're seeing a clone, to me, they've got to have a limited life.
Oh, absolutely. Have you seen Westworld?
I have.
The new one, right, on HBO?
No, not the new one, but the original.
Oh, you've, if possible, I know you probably don't spend time watching that stuff, but it is valuable so that we have, you know, again, like a frame of reference for certain things to describe and to refer to. If you ever have the ability to watch that, I really highly suggest it.
And I'll check it out. I think this is where I'm getting at. If I'm an elite individual and I want something to serve me, what is it so special about humans that I want to capture? Because they can have a whole thing of clones if they wanted to. They don't care about the clones. There is no substance to a clone, in my opinion, because they have the ability to clone it, but it's got limitations. I do believe now when they clone it, what happens to the original?
Well, and are they killing them, or do they keep them sort of in a catatonic state in some sort of a place that
the clone can be?
What I'm seeing right now is that they would live through a dreamlike state through their clone. That's just what's kind of coming to me right now. Whether that is accurate in any way or not, I have no fucking clue, but I can see it as possible.
So what happens when you take an original letter on just any kind of a letter? When you make a copy of a copy of a copy, it's going to lose something in the generations of copies. Right. So I kind of see cloning like that is the creator created the original, and then you're messing around with a copy of the original, which in no way, shape, or form can ever be the same. Right. So so I would think that this is what I would think. I would think a clone wouldn't be creative. I would think a clone would be disconnected from the creator because the creator never created it. It was something else. Right. So therefore, if it was something else and not created by the creator, it may be conscious, but it's almost like it's unconscious.
More than it is conscious.
Right. So if it's unconscious running around, it's like when you listen to Joe Biden and we're saying he's a clone. He's an idiot.
He is a babbling fool for sure. Nothing he says is intelligible.
No, nothing. Right. So that gives you, and the original was not like that. And
well, I mean, you've seen videos of him back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, right? Like he was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I mean,
well, but he had his shit together though. It wasn't as bad as this guy.
He could at least run his meat suit.
Right. Where, you're not going to just keep double taking. I mean, he would babble and shit. Don't get me wrong, but he was more coherent.
For sure. Yeah.
So they're saying
if they create a clone, doesn't it still have to have just a spark of the consciousness. It's going to have access to the memories so it can carry on a conversation and function in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. It's got to have some type of, and that's why I'm wondering what happens to the original.
And I am brought back to, you know, I after reading several Dolores Cannon books in 2012, I got to meet her and train with her in LA in 2012. And in the Convoluted Universe series, there was a past life regression where I don't know for sure, but I think it was a woman who went to a past life as sort of as a robot.
Mm.
And she had, what she was made of was a tiny spark of the person that created her as the robot creator. She was a piece of him.
Okay.
I would totally slaughter this regression if I tried to go, you know, too far into it. I just would like to reference that aspect, and maybe that's a lot of where where I kind of get to where I'm at with what I think might be happening there. But also I really think that there is lots of situations in between, because just think about all of the different situations and scenarios that they would need something like this for and use something like this for. And so I would imagine they would need people who can function, excuse me, at a much higher level and have access to far more consciousness, and that there's probably some sort of an adjustment that they can make. Because also you have to consider, if they have this black box technology where they can transfer souls, they can, you know, download your consciousness. You know, I'm sorry, but if they've showed it to us on a movie, you know, it's probably fucking possible.
Oh, for sure. I don't think we can even decipher sometimes between what's on a movie and what's in reality.
Absolutely. Which is
So
totally the point of this, them showing us these movies in the first place, so that they can bring it into reality and creation.
that's right, because we're the ones that are truly bringing life into anything.
Right.
So, and that keeps going back to this question: if it's a clone, if the original dies, doesn't the clone die?
I mean, wouldn't I I really do hope that at some point we get some of these answers. Do I need them in order to go on in life? I don't. But God, the curiosity is, it's big. And you know, maybe
How long have they been cloning people? That's the question. How long have they truly
I
been
think,
cloning?
again, for a very long time, like we talked about, you know, several meetings ago here, um, I feel like I've known since I was very little that I was one of many. How many, I don't know. Am I the original? I don't know. I'd like to think that I was. You know, it just hit me. Maybe look up why can't I think of Charles Manson.
I don't think he's going to be in there.
That's Mason.
Oh,
And maybe make sure it's Charles, since it was his most used. That's still Mason. And Charles, not Charlie. Even though some people call
oh.
him Charlie, but let's go
Hold on
back.
1 second. Let me see something.
Go back
Let
one.
me see if he's on. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. I'm going to Google real quick.
I might need to pause this and lock my chickens up.
Okay.
It's probably a good
He
time
was
while
a
you're.
yeah. He was a junior. That's what I wanted to see.
Actor.
Composer.
But he was a CIA asset, was he not? That's why
I
I
imagine so. Manhunter TV series soundtrack.
it's funny that they're willing to give. Okay, this brings me into another subject that we haven't got to talk about that I'm so excited to tell you about. Oh my God. Okay, let me pause this and go lock up my chickens. I'll be right back.
Okay, California.
Okay, so he died in 2017 in Bakersfield. So this is interesting. So when I was a teenager, my dad used to take me camping out in Ballarat, which is a place near Death Valley where Manson held out. And so we would go out there and camp all the time and blow shit up and go down into mines and, booby trap the roads. If you were the first one to get there, you were booby trapping the road for everybody else that was coming to meet you there. And all of my dad's friends were guys that worked for, oh my God, it's a weapons.
In California?
Yeah.
Is it in Southern or Northern California?
Southern California. Why can't I think of the name of this place? The name of the company.
Not Mojave Desert.
No, that's where I grew up. Oh, no, I was thinking of the name of the weapons contractor that everybody worked for.
Oh,
I was trying to think of the name of them. I'll ask my dad. I'll bring it up next time. But anyways, she used to camp there all the time, and it was sort of the thing. And we'd go and drive past the shack that he stayed in all the time. Every time we went out there.
Really?
God, what in the hell is the name of this company that everybody worked for? I'm going to search weapons contractors in Southern California real quick here because this is going to kill me.
Northrop Grumman?
Nope.
Raytheon?
Nope. It's nope. But you might
Not
be
Lockheed.
Nope. But those last two are a little bit closer. And it sounds a lot like the contractor that makes that big dog robot.
Not General Dynamics.
Yes, General Dynamics. Thank you. Yes, they all worked for General Dynamics.
Okay. At least we got that one.
Yeah, that was going to kick my ass and I wasn't going to find it. Okay. So we're at about an hour and 39 minutes. Maybe we should all stop recording and then start recording. I wonder if it'll record these. I might have to call you again to make it its separate thing, but maybe scroll back up here before we go off of this call and start the next one, which really would be part 2 of this, actually, because this is just crazy. Soundtrack, composer, actor. Why the fuck would they give him praise for anybody who acted as him in a movie? Why would they give him credit? Born in Ohio, huh? 1934. I mean, Richard Nixon was born in 31, as far as I know. Maybe it was 1913. That can't be true.
I mean, he didn't get out of jail, did he? We don't have no jails in Bakersfield.
I don't think so, but it's so weird because I feel like there's some kind of a Mandela effect here happening. Search Nelson Mandela. What the fuck?
Hold on. On January 1st, 2017, Manson was suffering from gastrointestinal bleeding at California State Prison in, where's that? How
Corcoran?
do you pronounce that? Yeah, Corcoran, when he was rushed to Mercy Hospital in downtown Bakersfield. That's not far from where I live. So he was still in jail because I thought he was in San Quentin.
You know, I'm feeling like, is that on 395?
The hospital?
No,
Corcoran?
or how far off of 395 is Bakersfield? It's not even close. I'm totally out of my.
395 is like about an hour and 30-minute drive from here.
I mean, because there's a pretty big ass prison out there off of 395. And I mean, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I used to take 395 when I would go up to
Right.
Minden.
Right.
So I would rather take that than to go the other route, which was going up
Right.
99 and
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
okay, so we could stop this and then we can restart.
Yeah. Okay. See you in the next one here in just a minute.
This is our first day of freedom. The war's over, we beat 'em. People react to the way you treat 'em.